Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Telivy MSP podcast. I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. Ernesto, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First, thank you for having me. My name is Ernesto Cusco. I'm the CEO. I'm founder of CloudBeaker LLC. CloudBeaker is a cloud managed service provider. We have strategic partnerships with the giants of the industry. We're Google partners, Microsoft partners. Actually, we are Microsoft Cloud Solution Provider. We're AWS partners, and we also have partnerships with another 10 companies, including Alibaba Cloud, in order to serve our clients in mainland China. Recently, we got authorization to resell and provide services in the regions of North America, which is pretty much USA and Canada, LATAM or Spanish speaking, where do we have an office in Quito, Ecuador, and also in the SEMEA region, which is Southern Europe, Middle East, Africa, and emerging markets. So we're all over the place pretty much. Our specializations are cloud infrastructure, cloud migration, technology innovation, digital workplace transformation, consulting on it, and reselling and services, of course.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, sounds like you're very busy and yeah,
I
very
am.
exciting as well. Hey everybody, for folks who don't know, I'm Jeremy. I'm head of partnerships at Telivy, and we're an automated cybersecurity risk assessment platform for over 100 MSPs. MSPs like Halt Data Solutions, Triada Networks, and Level 5 Management use Telivy to run risk assessments to win new clients and monitor existing clients, and have all given Televy 5 stars. And MSPs love Televy because MSPs reduce risk assessments that take 7 to 8 days that they do manually to under 5 hours with Televy. So let's jump right into it. CloudBeaker, could you tell us more about what problems you solve and what services and solutions you provide, Ernesto?
Well, pretty much, we help our clients to unlock their cloud power. So there's companies who are already in the cloud, but they haven't optimized enough their infrastructures, or companies who are looking to go to the cloud. And we help them to find the best alternative, sometimes multi-cloud, which is our approach. That's why we have the partnership with, the three of the biggest public clouds. Sometimes hybrid, depending of the environment or depending of the level of compliance. Now that you mentioned security, that's something that
Mm.
we help them to. Although we don't do cybersecurity per se, personally have a lot of experience working on insurance and finance market where we had to go over sub one, sub two, high trust, FedRAMP, and all type of certifications. So we try to design our solutions depending on the client and of course the industry they're working in, because as you well know, security frameworks are different depending on the industry, and to build or consult and offer solutions based on best practices and of course compliance readiness for them. Pretty much we go from DevOps to cloud infrastructure to lift and shift migrations, and we assist with many other products that go from data analytics, data integration, data security, um, to telephony and interconnectivity services.
Very cool. Could you, I want to dive deeper a little bit into that. Could you share a customer case study story that takes us, end to end, right? From the initial problem they came to you with to how you resolved that initial problem to how the sort of continued, service. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And actually, one of our biggest clients is FCE Benefit Administrators. FCE is a third-party administrator of benefits for the government contractors and sometimes, the federal government. They're pretty big. It's a company who operates in all 50 states of the United States. And they have also offices in Guam, which is an island in the Pacific, but it's a naval base, but seeing federal contractors working there, FC served them. I was actually hired by FC in 2015. I spent 8 years with them. I ended up being the director of IT operations. And when I get there, FC was a company who was completely on-prem with resources. um, very old resources, very not properly configured infrastructure or networking,
Mm.
uh, all that kind of executive to access to a very prehistoric VPN connection. VoIP wasn't properly set up, so it was a
Wow.
big problem. I have to say that the leadership of the company, especially Chief Operating Officer Isaac Dominic, was involved from the modernization from the beginning. We receive a lot of support from senior leadership. This is a company that is in they invest on technology and they understand the importance and the priority. So I was hired in 2015. We did all we need to build a team, bring all the team inside because they were working with an MSP originally. So we decided to go to the cloud in 2016. Although we had some resources in Azure, back then in 2016, Google was the underdog, but it was more flexible for us from the billing standpoint to start a
Mm.
migration to Google. I had still have a strong background in AWS, but I decided that back then, since they need collaboration and all that, they were already in Office 65. We needed to start moving the data center. I'm talking about a big data center. They FC have a business systems department. They need to provide report integration, data management. They develop their own software, so it was very complex. It took us a few years to complete the task of not only migrating and creating a hybrid environment with a VPN connections, improve the ISPs, consolidate the data, improve the virtual servers, moving it to the cloud. Together with that, they have a software development department. So FCE was developing their own software. So we
Mm.
need to support that from the DevOps standpoint. At the same time, they were developing the mobile application that I'm very proud to say that after all that, by 2020, when the pandemic hits, FC was 90% in the cloud. It was very easy for the company to transition to the remote working model that allowed the company not to drop a pin in performance and
Wow.
in the capacity to serve the clients, especially during the pandemic, since FCE provides benefits like medical benefits and vision that were so important during those times. So today the company is 100% in the cloud, Google Cloud. They have a kind of a multi-cloud approach since they use collaboration with Office 365 and also they use the advantages of Google like a Chrome Enterprise to for the remote workers that they still have, like a few days a week that they let people go home. So it was a titanic job. But when we did the math at the end of the 4 years, the company improved its performance and reduced their IT operational costs up to 40%, just
Wow.
moving to the cloud. Although the costs were high at the beginning, right now, the company is extremely efficient, is scalable, have a tremendous high availability. Um, all offices are connected. Even the operations in San Antonio, Texas, together with the San Mateo headquarters, all to the cloud, including the phone systems. We were able to deploy their own PBX running on Google Cloud, which allowed them to be, provisioned all the time, even in the case of a major disaster. Also, the customer service department, they have a customer service department, can operate remotely if necessary. So the clients and members can now lose a call. So I believe that we're in the top of excellence. Because of that, the
Mm-hmm.
company is high trust certified, is so one, so two compliance, high trust certified, and I believe that we're looking for CMMC certification too, which is more government. So this
Wow.
is our major case study. We're
Yeah.
still working with them and provide support because FC is a company, and that's what I love of that company that never stops. They keep
Mm-hmm.
innovating. They keep innovating because they understood and they have feasible evidence of what a technology innovation process can do for the company, to help growth and to thrive
Yeah.
with the new
Wow.
technology. So
Ernesto, I love the way you told that story. And I think, it's very easy to understand, right? For the businesses out there and also for the MSPs out there. 40% improvement, right, on costs and performance. And, you know, these days we all know everybody's working hybrid
I,
or working remote. And I love that you all had prepared your clients for remote and cloud work that when COVID hit, right? Wow, not didn't drop a
that
pin
was a
in performance.
challenge. That
That's
was it's a big challenge, especially at the
very
beginning.
impressive. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
company, do you remember the beginnings of COVID? Like
Yep.
somebody had a case in the building, they closed down the whole
Yep.
building.
Everybody was
So
scrambling, right? Nobody had laptops or like internet VPN access, right?
it
Just
was complicated for
chaos.
many companies. Other companies
Yeah.
suffered tremendously, especially the ones who were using VPN
Mm-hmm,
versus
mm-hmm.
their on-prem locations. Imagine when you have 100 clients to the VPN, you're oversaturating your internet channel. So at the end of the day, nobody can work.
Yep.
That changed tremendously when you're in the cloud, since all the cloud public providers like Google or Amazon or Azure have, well, I don't want to say unlimited because that's not
Mm-hmm.
true, but
They
they
could
have,
scale.
well, yeah, they can scale up and load balance
Yep.
and give people the access they need without losing very little in performance and capacity to do their jobs. You just
That's
need to have the infrastructure and policies and processes in place for that to work effectively,
yeah.
right? Is a challenge to manage a workforce remotely. Cloud Beaker is pretty much all remotely, so we got people all over the place. We got engineers in Pakistan, here in the States, in
Wow.
Austin,
Awesome.
in Florida. We got a sales team that is working in Philippines, and we got another one in
Wow.
Latam. So uh, the lessons learned from that process, especially for me, I've been in IT operation for over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
more than 17 on senior leadership roles. So I know my ways, but this part was a big challenge, and I
Mm.
appreciate. I don't want to take the credit to myself or to my company of what we technologically achieved with FC. I want to give more credit to the senior leadership, especially to the CEO Steve Porter and to the COO, my friend and brother Isaac Dominich, who have the vision and they support these efforts tremendously in order to keep the company running and to be efficient and to serve better their members.
And I want to learn more about your team and also, yeah, just your whole 20-year story as well, in a little bit later. But for now, I'm curious to dive in a little bit more about your customers. So, you mentioned the government customers. Are there multiple industries that you all work with? I remember you mentioned finance really early as well.
Yes.
And how big are these companies, right? You're talking hybrid, remote, right? Using Google Cloud, and is this hundreds of employees? Is this 100? Is this 50? Is this?
We can scale up. Actually, we do go from SMB to enterprise. We
Mm,
don't have a limit because remember our backend is going to be either Google or Amazon or Azure, so they can support that.
mm,
The way Cloud Beacon works is we have our internal resources. So especially me, I'm first and foremost an engineer,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
I'm a CEO because well, I founded the company, use my own money to start getting the things. But all my allies, my chief revenue officer Joe Wilson, my CTO Joe Dallin, and all the engineers that work with me here in the States, it's people who've been working with me in the past, people
Mm,
that we know, and they have over 25 combined experience in this field, in doing the job. I'm an engineer, like I said, and I was very picky in the way I wanted to structure the company to serve clients. I was working for an strategic partner till January 2023, and I'm going to say the name. I believe it's not important now. The way others were doing business, I didn't appreciate it, and maybe it's because I've been on both sides of the aisle. I've been a director of
yeah.
IT, CTO, where vendors come to me to offer me services,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I know what I want, and I know what makes sense to me.
Mm.
And I've been also on the other side trying to sell to this type of executive.
Yeah.
We decided with the team that we're going to have a different approach. Our approach is no long-term commitment. So I don't make anybody to sign a long-term contract, not even for a year. With us, it's month to month. And
Mm.
if you're not happy with the service we're providing to you, you can terminate the relationship, no strings attached, no hard feelings. We like to call ourselves uh, first and foremost a consulting company. So I'm not trying to sell you either Google or Microsoft or AWS.
Right.
We
Right.
use that as a complement to our services.
Yeah.
So we offer free assessments. So we go to your company. We got a lot of experts. We talk to your team. We understand first. We understand what is your struggle. Where are you getting struggle? Go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
Ernesto, that's a perfect segue into what I want to talk about next. So you're talking about your process into meeting new clients, what that customer experience is like, right? When you first get to know each other, talk. You mentioned an assessment. So more broadly, can you share with us your sales process from, how do you meet new clients to what's that initial demo or assessment? I'd love to hear a breakdown of that as well. Your pitch proposal, does it happen a month later?
Right.
Your to deal one to like continuous monitoring, you mentioned month over month, managed service to upgrades, how does it work? How does your
Well,
process work?
yeah, that's the challenging part. Pretty much. Well, we use, of course, also software to get the leads and all that, and we got a sales team who take the time to make the calls and call email and all that. When we
Mm.
reach a client, and this is the response we get 90% of the time. Oh, we're already in the cloud. Oh no, we already got a company with those guys. So my pitch is just bring the client to the table. So tell me, okay, that's fine. We're not trying to sell you anything here. We just want to understand. Look, we have this broad spectrum of technologies, and we can be just a consultant. And talk to us is free. Even do a free assessment. We can sit down with you, understand what you have, what are your needs, what are you looking for, and we can meet with your team, make an assessment to understand that okay, this is our recommendations, and that is completely free, right?
Mm.
We don't sell packages. But look, for example, we got this new client. I won't disclose the name. You understand that there is some information I cannot disclose.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, no, we're in the cloud. We're already on this cloud, and we already have this set up and that. So this company for over 1,000 employees,
Wow.
but my sales executive was pretty good. And he said, well, let's have the conversation. Well, I can have the conversation, but I'm telling you, I already have that. So I went there and I just started talking with the client. Okay, what are you facing right now? What is your struggles? And how do you think in doing this? And how do you think in that? And we're here just to support you on these type of things. We got a lot of experience, like I said. So once you match that with the client, especially because you need to understand that any director of IT out there is still here of talking with vendors
Yeah.
who don't care what his problem is. They just want to sell something. It's like a snake oil salesman, a
Yeah.
guy selling you a car, right? When they talk with somebody who has the same background, which is easy, that's what I'm trying to teach
Mm.
and to mentor my team. That is okay. You got this problem. Well, I have it before because I've been using this ERP system or this that and this. Oh yes, then you begin creating like some empathy there, right? It's like they think, okay, these guys understand what's my problem, and they are not offering me anything. For example, we are about to close that deal, and we decided to go with a cloud provider, one of them. I don't overbill anything on the cloud provider. So I'm going to provide you the invoice, what your consumption on that cloud provider, and I'm going to provide the billing report from that cloud provider. So you see that my invoice will match that value. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
make money out of you from that because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
partner. I got a profit margin, so I don't overbill the clients. I don't force them to have extra support of things they don't need.
Mm-hmm.
My promise is not to get them into a long-term commitment that will make them to spend more money as they grow. No, it's to optimize. I
Mm.
wrote, and it was published on Read Write magazine, and I'm finishing my PhD in technology innovation management, so publishing is part of me, part of the requirements. I published a strategy for cloud adoption. that is called the AOD model, right? This is copyrighted, so already published. So the AOD model is based on adapt, optimize, and deliver. So
What
when you
was the
go to
last part?
the
The last part?
deliver,
Deliver.
that's continuous
Constantly
delivery,
deliver.
right? Otherwise, you don't work. Companies who don't innovate and continue delivering the same process will perish in that.
Mm.
So we adapt what we got. So there's a lot of owners that go to the project that, well, infrastructure modernization, which it is infrastructure modernization, but they go and said, oh, you got a 2008 server there that maybe is running a legacy critical application that cannot be modified by tomorrow. But the client wants to go to, okay, that's not support, I cannot do it. No, I don't use that approach. That's why we're gonna get that server, just to give you some technical things. I don't want to get too technical. We're gonna nest it, virtualize on the provider, and we're gonna put it to work in there. Once first we're gonna adapt it, we're gonna put it in the cloud, and then we're gonna optimize that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But we're not going to disrupt your productivity or your production, and we're
Yep.
gonna do everything in parallel. What people don't understand is, and maybe it's wrong for me to say it this way, but I've been very frustrated in the past, is that there is no voodoo or magic behind a cloud platform. All right, although there have the differences in operations, pretty much are the same. What really matters is your expertise on system engineering and the backend and the understanding of the core infrastructures, because everything runs over that,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can tell me that it's an EC2 in Amazon or a VM on Google. At the end of the day, that works over the same operating system, over the over a similar platform, which is a virtualized one, right?
Yep.
That's what it is. Once you understand that, then you can provide tailored homegrown solutions to your clients, right? Without the need to go to a third party. Oh, you need a VDI on Google, you need to go to a third party. No, that's not true. Okay, there is a lot of things that you can do there, all right? Using the Google tools, right? Same with Microsoft, same with Amazon. Your willingness to find a solution that is cost effective and is homegrown for your clients is the capacity that you have as a company to serve them better.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I want to jump back to something you said earlier about building empathy. So I graduated with a computer engineering degree from Georgia Tech. I come from an engineering background as well. I also founded my own company, which, just like you, which we'll get into in a bit. And having to learn sales and also empathizing with, wow, I get bogged down in vendors. Everybody gets bogged down with vendors and emails, and honestly, I mark them as spam, right? They're just trying to sell me on something. When we hop on a call, they're just trying to sell me on something. It's hard to listen. But
Get frustrated.
when you have that conversation, Ernesto, it sounds like you're trying to apply, oh, when I was a CTO, this is how I felt, right? These were my
Exactly.
needs, my pain points. This
Yes.
is what I needed. And when you talk to them, you go, oh, so what do you need, right? And what's the situation? Oh, and then you get into the technical details. And I feel like you build trust with people that way, right? Oh, like they
I'm trying to.
understand, right? They're not just trying to shove a solution down that might not even work for me, right? Or might be too costly for me, right? But you understand, you empathize, you understand what their cost needs are, right? You mentioned what you do with the invoices. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I wanted to ask because Telivy is a automated risk assessments platform. I'm curious, when you do assessments, just to learn from your process, what is your assessment process? Do you do external assessments? Do you do full sort of like on device
I do
assessments?
both. I do
Okay.
both depending of the workload. There is
Mm-hmm.
clients who are very small, so we can do the assessment and take the necessary measures
Mm-hmm.
to
You do that
minimize
manually?
risks. To minimize risks, we got some applications to do that.
Mm.
To do so, we got, of course, our own. We're in the process of being SOC 2 compliance too, so we have everything in place. However,
Mm-hmm.
when it's a major workload, we use a third-party company, right, to work with us. We don't build that extra to the client. It's all incorporated within the process.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said, it's in a client by client basis, right? Not all of them. We always do a risk assessment. Actually, we provide insurance. We have corporation
Mm.
insurance for our professional services up to $2 million. So we offer that. If we do something that is not right and damage, we cover up to $2 million. So we know how to protect ourselves and how to minimize risk. And we share that in a major project with them, especially the riskier ones are the collaboration migration. For example,
Mm.
somebody who wants to go from Office 365 to Workspace or vice versa, right? We had we did a migration of over 2,800 mailboxes.
Mm.
This was Microsoft to Google, and it was quite a challenge. And there was a lot of risk because then we had to perform what we call a domain audit. So where we can identify which is what is a compromised account that they had to, compromise accounts, but it's and take measures during the
Mm-hmm.
migration. So it wasn't just like the standard process that click next and start migrating things. We have to go in it's like a bunch by bunch basics to analyze that, and we got a method for that. But in the big cases, yes, we use third party company. Um, I won't disclose the name, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure you're familiar with this type of company. Maybe your company does that.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's interesting how you provide insurance as well. And actually, the founding story of Telivy, our founders originally started Telivy as a cyber insurance company. And then as they were talking to clients, they're like, no, actually, our clients need risk assessments, right? And I'd love to understand. So risk assessment is part of your sales process to win the client, right? Is part of the education and also the precursor to the solution, right? Oh, you got to understand what the risks are before you start solving them or go, oh, this is what we can do for you. And just for, because not every MSP may understand the difference between risk assessments or even how to use risk assessments in sales. I guess from your perspective, why is that important? Why do you have that piece in your sales process?
well, it's actually it's extremely important, and sometimes it's not even on the sales process; it's internal. So I won't jump into any project, no matter how small it might be, without running a risk assessment because we need to understand. Remember, we're working with clients' data, and
Mm-hmm.
that data is sensitive. And if you damage, because you didn't take the proper measures, and you make a mistake with a client, that is fatal for any
Right.
company. You're going to lose credibility. You're going to lose a lot of things, regardless if you have insurance or not. So for me, risk assessment is prioritary. Sometimes the clients are not interested in that. Remember, you need to read the audience. Who is talking to you? Sometimes we have found director of ITs, which is somebody that they gave them the job of director of IT, but they don't have any, computing background. They
Right.
just executives that, hey, I don't have, I just have a help desk here. I need some help because I want to do something good. So the level of conversation with them is different. It is our responsibility as the provider to take all the measures and to give them all the resources to uh, for them to feel confident and secure on what we're doing, to guide them step by step of the process. And that's why my approach is tailor solution.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to sell packages. And I see this company, every time I see this company, is that, oh, this is our package, 5 VM migration, this amount of money. That's dumb because depending on the VMs, that price or the effort could be higher or lower.
Right.
So you don't know until you do, like you said, a risk assessment and until you understand the environment and the need. Everything can change in just to use the same example, a 5 VM migration package. It can change the operating system. It can change the platform. It can change the requirements. It can change the type of networking you need to use in the back end, right? Are they segregated? Are they DMZ? Are they going to be on the
Mm.
same subnet? Do you need to split it? Which one's level of access? All that change when you're migrating, even something as simple as 5 VM.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So when somebody offer a package For me, I believe that works for some people. For
Sure.
me, from the other side of the aisle, as a CTO, if somebody comes to me offering me, oh, yeah, we're going to migrate 100 VM for this, I'm going to discard that conversation right now.
Right.
So
Right.
you don't know what you're doing. So I'm
And that
sorry.
extremely valuable wisdom, right? In the industry, being on both sides. Yeah, and it sounds like from what you're saying, it doesn't make sense from a technical perspective for the customer or for you, the vendor, and it doesn't make sense from a sales perspective because the costs
Right.
and you don't know, right? And it needs to be custom tailored, as you said. Which I believe when you custom tailor a solution and you build, you do that due diligence, you run the assessments, you fully understand, you're able to provide a better solution anyways. And you're working hand in hand with the customer, you build up a better working relationship with the customer anyways. There's a lot of benefits to that approach. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of
Yes. And
sense.
that's the
Yeah.
goal. Exactly. So I believe that both things goes hand in hand. And yeah, I won't do it any other way. So if
Mm.
that's the advice for any other MSP, yes. Risk
Yeah.
assessments is the first thing you need to do after signing the the contract.
Mm. Absolutely. And I'm curious, just switching gears a little bit because you alluded to this earlier. What's the founding story of your team? You know, how did you meet them? I know you mentioned that you've met them in the past, you know, with past work experiences. How did you found this company and why?
Well, look, I've been all over the place. I was born in Cuba. I'm Cuban. I started, well, I finished college. I'm graduated from bachelor in computer engineering. Um, Before my final year, I was selected by the United Nations Development Program. I'm talking 1998. I'm old. We were developing for a company in Cuba called Infomed, or the Cuba's Medical Information Network. We were developing the America's Health Virtual Library. Back then, we were developing in CVIs, all CVIs and all Unix, ANSI type of things with basic HTML3
Yeah, yeah.
and CVIs running on the server side. I was selected um, for the program with the United Nations Development Program to go to the British Caribbean, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent's, to deploy the solution. That is was based on the Medline. I remember. Uh, well, I remember well. It was quite an experience, and because of that, when I presented my dissertation in college, they grant me the master's directly, so I didn't have to apply. So the next year, I took
Mm.
my master's on innovation technology, sciences and innovation technology management, and I started working for a major ISP. I left Cuba in 2003. I went to Ecuador, and my reason why I left Cuba are, let's say that I wasn't very happy with the system down there. So I don't want to go there. That's different type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Ecuador, and with lots of struggles, I became director of engineering for a major ISP. I worked in ISPs. Then I changed to satellite. I've been doing a lot of things. I got married at 34 and have my older daughter down there in 2014. I'm sorry. Yes, 2014. I was the CTO for an FTC group, which is a multi-corporate company that was a consulting MSP and internet service provider,
Oh, wow.
corporate and residential. Yeah, we did very good deals there. So I remember. I decided to come to the States for a personal reason. With my older daughter have Turner syndrome. I thought it wasn't the right place to, and I decided, even when we had a good life, to come down here. Came in 2014. After getting, because I'm Cuban, there's some laws that allow me to become a resident pretty fast here in the States. I got my first job at FCE in 2015. I was with them till 2021 when I went to work for Google strategic partner as practice lead of the Google Cloud. And in 2023, I decided that enough is enough. So I want to do something on my own. And I got my friends and some of the clients, the people I know, they say, why don't you open your own company? Why don't you do this? I was very frustrated in my past position
Mm.
because I didn't like the sales process. I didn't like the approach to clients. Uh, um, and I know that everyone has a different opinion. To me, this is not what the clients need. This is not the best way of helping people. I understand we have a business. We want to make money, but I feel better if I make money serving others when it's a win-win situation,
Yep.
right? When it makes sense to you and it makes sense to me, and I'm providing some value besides a monthly invoice because I got you hooked up for the 1, 2, 3 years contract that makes total no sense. And when I'm not trying to save you, but to spend more. So I decided that, okay, I already achieved the highlights in my career as a professional. I'm finishing my PhD, which is my highlights as an academic. And I decided, well, I'm still young, right? So let's do this. I wasn't expecting the growth. All right.
Mm.
Just to give you an example, our first invoice was we left our previous company in January 2023, at the end of January, right? In February, we started to work on this, and in March, we issued our first invoice that was $8,000, right? In
Nice.
July, our revenue was 137,000, and it's going to increase now in August, right? And like I said, I don't hook up anybody on a long-term contract. It's month to month. Is I work with them, and I'm not the type of CEO that never shows up. It's just trying to say no. I'm right there. I serve my clients just like my other engineers because I believe in the principle to lead by example. If I'm gonna demand any of my engineers or my team to, hey, we've started, let's grow, to work extra hours and go the extra mile, I have to work double than them, and that's what I'm doing.
That's
So
greater
yeah,
than 10x growth in a few months.
I know
What,
it's
six
over.
months?
It's 1,200% growth. Yes, and we're
How?
aiming for 10 mil by the end of the year. So
So, how is a very loaded question, but there's a lot of reasons, right? Your 20 years experience, yeah, your team, the technical and but yeah, how
it's easy.
is it somewhat
It,
related to
it's
how
not
you
com-
approach sales, right? You mentioned the month to month.
it's not complicated. Actually, the biggest clients who already have a huge consumption in the cloud, which, because I'm being a partner, if I get that billing account that goes through my revenue, they are not happy with the partners they have. If you ask, and there is a study on that, I need to look for it, but there's one that I read it. If you ask any company which is already in the cloud have a big consumption and they have a relationship with a partner, either Microsoft, Google, whoever, tell them how's that relationship. And the relationship with the partner is, oh, we just after a certain amount of time, a few months, we're all set. We just get a bill from them, and so you're getting no value. You're not getting a partner who is there. That's why I work in the service contract model, right? Depending on the workload. So you pay this, and that's it. I will guarantee that I will support everything you got. I'm going to meet with you twice. I will provide 10 minutes response times. I put
Wow.
dedicated resources 40 hours a week just to answer your calls and a dedicated phone line per client, regardless what my cost might be. I want my clients to feel supported. I want that, hey, there's a new thing. We need, and my engineers know that they need to understand each of our clients' infrastructure, like from head to toes. They need to understand that. So if there's something new that can save them money, that could be a best solution, we can provide it to them. And because we are on a service contract, it won't cost them more money. Hey, you're already covered. You want me to go and do this? Oh, yes, do it, please. There is no more money to cost you. We help them to unlock their true potential on cloud resources, saving costs, and increasing performance and productivity. That's our commitment. And our commitment again is month to month. If I don't comply with my promises this month, you can terminate the relationship the next one, no strings attached. no hard feelings. I don't keep my clients hostage. I don't
Mm-hmm.
owe or manage any of their infrastructure. I do have a delegation, but they're always in control, 100%. And that's what we offer. Because you know what? I wanted to have a partner who offered me the same thing,
Yep.
the liberty to be in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm keeping my relationship with this vendor because I feel that I have value, because there is no, like other commitments in there. It's like
Yeah.
okay, let's work together because we want to, because we provide value to each other. That's very hard to find. I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
Yep,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. And I can't help but feel it goes back to the empathy, right? The
oh yeah,
reasons why your
absolutely.
customers stay with you, and it's proven now, right? Month over month over month, and continue working and continue making requests and continue building that relationship. Um, yeah, that's incredible. I was going to ask you, so I'll
Okay.
ask it anyways, but I feel like you already answered it. But looking back at the last 20 years, right, 20 plus years in the IT industry, I won't name the names, but what's the most important lesson that you learned, maybe that you could share with
Oh,
our audience?
oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of lessons. Um, uh, I believe that the most important one is what I'm trying to apply now. It's like take a breath and try to understand. Engineers, uh, in general, we are too quick to offer solutions, and sometimes we offer solutions without hearing the problem yet, right? Um, because I had to be in a leadership position with uh, I learned, and I had a lot of mentors, people that I look up to that help me with this. I got a good personality, so people follow me, and I'm a public speaker, right? So I can lead teams, but there was that piece that I lacked, and I believe I still do. I still lack, which is the patience. It's like a listening and try to understand 100% what the problem is. Because sometimes I see something and I say, okay, this is the solution, but I
Yep.
don't understand that, there is more than one way to skin a cat, right? Especially in IT. So
Mm-hmm.
what for you is the fastest and the best, not always is what the client requires. Sometimes you need to take a break and find an alternative, a workaround in order to, to see the bigger picture. That patience, that capacity to understand is my biggest lesson. Okay. I believe I'm a better professional and a better engineer and a better leader because although I still have to work on it, but now I take the time to explain things in details and to listen. The need, not only for the client, I'm talking about from the leadership standpoint, to understand the needs of my own team or the company I'm working for. So I've been incorporated for 20 years. So pretty much we complain about all the departments. They don't know what they're talking about. These people don't know how to upload this,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah, this guy don't know how to use the goddamn phone. But we are not positioning ourselves
Right.
into the customer shoes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that I learned, and that's the biggest lesson, to understand the problem from the customer or the user perspective. That gives me situational awareness is super important. Understand what is around you. It's like it's a military term. Situational awareness, self-awareness, and sense of urgency. That's it. I believe the three more important things, or the four more important things to be effective as an IT leader or as an engineer. Same thing.
Wow. Uh, That's incredible. I think it's very wise of you to be mindful and self-aware of all these things, right? And how you were
Oh, I
explaining it
learned.
and being self-critical and reflecting and realize these things. I think it all makes sense. It ties back to the empathy. It ties back to custom tailoring your solutions with your customers. It all connects. I think. So I have just a few last questions just for fun for me because I found
Absolutely.
these
Go
things.
home.
I just you're a very interesting individual. You have a
I
doctor,
appreciate that.
doctor of course, a doctor of philosophy,
Almost, almost.
almost
I'm writing.
philosophy.
Yeah, PhD. Yes,
Tell us
yes.
about that. IT
Um,
engineering and then philosophy.
yeah, but it's a PhD in technology innovation management with a major in IT project management.
Oh,
Yes, I
okay,
started in
okay.
2020. I started in 2020. I already got a master's degree. I'm a master in sciences and innovation management. So this is something that I'm passionate about, and I've been working on it. I've been a professor in a university in Ecuador in the past. So uh, I believe that at one point in our lives, especially for us who are very technical people, uh, we reached that point. Maybe it's because I'm in the middle age crisis right now, but we reached that point where we need to mentor and to train others, which it is important, okay, to share the
Yeah.
knowledge. I'm sorry, apologize about that. I'm a firm believer that a shared knowledge is way more beneficial for mankind. Maybe this is an idealism of
You're a
mine,
dreamer.
but I might be. But I believe that that's what allows future generations to grow, right? Because I remember when I was 20 years old, I thought I was a know-it-all. I know everything. And it wasn't like that. So you learn every day, and the capacity to share that knowledge is important. That's why, well, actually, I started my PhD. I didn't have the need. I just started the PhD because my older daughter didn't want to go to school. Well, I have to go to school. So, well, I don't have to go to school. I'm going to start school again. So I've been doing it for the last 2 years. I already finished my course. I'm very proud of my 3.68 GPA. And I'm writing the dissertation right now. So I should be defending my dissertation, all goes well, in October this year. So in a couple of months. And then I'm going to be a PhD. So yes, I'm going to put a LinkedIn, Dr.
Yep, yep.
Ernesto Cruz.
We got to have you back when you're Dr. Kuso.
There you go. There
That
you go.
wow.
And no, I wanted to write too. So I started publishing things in good magazines. So Read Write, which is a 5 million user magazine gave me the opportunity to contribute with articles. Of course, you write the article, you need to submit it to an editor that have to be reviewed by your peers and all that in order to be published. But so far they published one, which is about the AOD model, and I'm trying to share that knowledge. If you go to the cloudbeaker.com website, the blog have a lot of publications that I try to, as much as I can, when I can find the time, to write something and put it in there to give visibility to people. And I share all over. Okay, this is what I think. This is my point of view. This is free knowledge for everybody. Um, I'm not in the somebody told me, why don't you write a book and you can sell it and make money? I don't think that's a good way to spend my brains. So,
Wow. Um, this is my last official question. I think everybody has a story and why they are who they are. You know, today you've talked about how you approach IT and customers. You know, I forgot the first letter, but optimize and deliver, right? Right?
adapt,
Adopt. That was it.
optimize, and deliver.
Right? You custom tailor your solutions. You're empathetic to the customer. You do things that make sense technologically, right? You don't bind people in contracts. You also are sharing your knowledge and teaching and passing on your wisdom and what you know. Uh, these are very interesting qualities once you put them all into one single person. I'm curious. You mentioned earlier that you started out in Cuba and you went to Ecuador and now you're in Texas. I'm just curious to scratch this, just even the surface of where this all comes from. Yeah.
I believe that, and that's a very good question. So it's not about knowledge. It's not about the capacity. I know people with a GED who are the best a senior executive, you can know. It's not about that. I believe that people can sell. I have a friend of mine who have no degree and they're brilliant. I believe that the foundations of who you are as a person, it comes from, well, many different places. Family, um, culture, you know. I was born in Cuba. I didn't have, they sent me to a boarding school when I was 14, and then I have to go to the military, which is mandatory. So it gives me a different type of structure, like always keep pushing, always keep working, always keep moving forward, because that's the only thing that's gonna take you ahead. All right. If you want to survive, in my case, survive, or if you want to make something of yourself, you need to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Never retreat, never surrender, and that is a strong will. I was born in the 70s, so my parents, my grandparents have very strong conservative principles, you know, like, and that I not necessarily agree with all of them, but at least was the foundation. I believe that sadly, um, people today, the most modern guys who's learning for example, I started as a developer, right? But in my times, we didn't have Windows, right? It was MS, DOS, and
Yeah.
Turbo C, and you know, structural programming. So you really need to know what you're doing there, right? So it gives you that passion to understand the core things. And of course, as we evolve and we go to the cloud, for me, I always try to understand the core of everything. It's a virtualization, virtualization products, a multi-layer, that. So again, I like to understand how the things work for me. I'm talking about from the computing standpoint. And I found um, people now these days that they go to a, I don't know, training course 6 months, and now they believe they're senior front end developers, but they don't even understand what an API is.
Huh?
And they don't make the effort, right? I believe that people lack stability, or many, not all of them. There is great companies in there. There's great people. There's great young people doing tremendous things, right?
Mm.
But overall, um, the passion or the level of passion has changed, right? I'm talking about my background coming from Cuba and all the struggles and all that, you know, to being a grown man when I was 18, with burning all my teenager years because that's what, uh, you know, my regime or the system down there provides. Is like here in the States, it's a country I love so much. Um, it breaks my heart to see how many people uh, who takes their own country for granted. Uh, right? I don't want to go to politics because that's have nothing to do with this. It's about like why I don't value what I have and
Mm-hmm.
take all the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities I have to be better, right? To have enthusiasm and to have motivation and to have uh, ideas, you know, like you, Jeremy. You're doing the podcast, you're your own company and all that. That's, and you're a young guy. That is passion. That is the ability, okay, to move forward regardless. Okay, I'm doing this because I enjoy it, because I want to be somebody, because I want to make an impact. All right. And that heart and that passion is the only thing that matters. Right. Unfortunately, what we see here is, oh, I'm going to sell you a package. There's a 5 virtual machine for $100. And that is the root of everything. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Right. So I don't know if that answered the question. I believe I went to the branches.
I'm gonna disagree with you and say, but you can learn it. But you can
Oh,
learn
yeah,
it by
definitely.
listening to people like you. Um, I certainly share a passion. Um,
Definitely. I agree with you on that.
I and I'm learning from you, right? So I'm an example.
No,
Um,
definitely, you are absolutely right. Maybe I wasn't very clear on that. Yes, you can learn it. Yes, everything. You know, your desire to learn and to move forward and to be better every day is something that anybody can have.
yeah.
The problem is not often, not everybody. Okay, and that is for me is heartbreaking. especially because I got two little girls that I don't know why I believe they're gonna end up being spoiled princesses. Uh
I'm
yes,
I'm spoiled too, but I have hope. So I'm gonna disagree with you to the end. I have hope that it's possible.
it is possible, but
I know you're
it
very
is possible.
experienced.
It is no, it is possible. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it is possible.
Mm.
Okay, come on, that's our hope. It is
Yeah.
possible, but you need to jump into it,
Yeah.
right? It have to be your decision,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I agree with you. Actually, I probably went too far there. I'm an old grumpy dude. That's what
That's
happened.
okay. That's why we have the balance. That's it's amazing. Thank you so much, Ernesto. That's the end of our
Absolutely,
podcast.
thank you.
The last plug. Feel free to plug. However you like. Who should reach out to you? What's the best way to reach you? If you have any promotions, anything. Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely, guys. So you can reach us at www.cloudbeaker.com. Our phone number is 800-745-1526. And you can send an email to info@cloudbeaker.com or sales@cloudbeaker.com. And that's it. So anything you need, we're here to help you guys.
Awesome. And everything will be in the description. And just a quick plug for me. Hey, folks, are you an MSP? Get your free automated risk assessment today at telivy.com. Telivy.com. And special promotion for our podcast listeners. Thank you so much for listening. If you like Telivy and you want to run automated risk assessments on more clients and more endpoints, just let us know you came from the podcast. We'll give you a 20% off the upgrade. So
I'm gonna
thank you.
check you out right now. Actually,
All
I'm gonna
right,
check
let's
you out right
do
now.
it. Yeah, bring it on. Please give us your feedback. We want to learn from you as well. So, and
Absolutely.
everybody else who's listening. So, cool. Thank you so much, Ernesto.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hi.